Hey friends, this episode I want to bring you some books that have been such a vital part of my journey, my healing, the things that God has just helped me with. And this is going back to like 2017, you guys. That's a long time from today. Feels like it anyway. But there's some pivotal books that have helped me in my process and in my journey, and I wanted to share them with you today. I'll break a couple of them out a little bit just to talk about them, but then I'll just kind of give you a little bit of a running list, and then I'm planning on creating a downloadable or something where you can access it on my website for more resources. So stay tuned for that, because I'm really excited to share that with you, and that way you can click links and you can find these books. And I'll be really, really glad if you do read them and it helps you. I would love for you to email me and let me hear about it, because, part of this help and journey and the healing process that you're on is I would love to hear about it. I would love to hear how God is helping you to overcome the things that you've endured in your lifetime, and how you have acknowledged it, how you're assessing the situation, and how you can overcome it. There's another thing that God has kind of deposited to me over the last couple of weeks, and that's the 5 A's of healing. And so I'll be working on that. And then just something that he gave to me, I think it was yesterday, or was it this morning? Gosh, it feels like such a long day, you guys. But I think he gave me this this morning. But how to achieve the freedom you desire. You seek God, you're bold, change your perspective, accept the truth, and look for hope. And so I'll be breaking those out too as well, and what those things look like. But I'm just excited for what God's doing and how I can provide more and more value and hope and healing and encouragement to you. And one of the ways I'm going to do that is by giving you a couple of books, a list of several books that I have helped me, actually more than several, you guys. There's been a lot of books. I am an avid reader. I love reading, and just reading something that's going to help someone else. It's not just about me and what I can get and help for myself, but it's about giving back to anyone that comes in my path that God wants me to help and just love on and give tools to. And so aside from the Bible, because that's very important in my life, I literally have Isaiah 41:10 tattooed on this shoulder, because in that scripture it says, "Do not fear, for I am with you." And that is so important to me, because like I said in previous episodes, I have had a tough time overcoming fear, and I felt like I was alone, but God says that he's with me. And so I want you to know that too. You don't have to fear, and God says he's with you. And he says a lot of things in the Bible, which is why it is so super helpful whenever you're going through something like this, or, in the aftermath of healing what you've been through. A couple of books that I'm reading currently are Healing What's Hidden. I'm actually recording the kind of chapter overview of those and answering some questions that are in the chapter, and adding those inside my community, inside the website subscription. If you sign up, then you get access to those reviews, and some of them have some guests in there, some members from the community. I am focusing on doing one-to-one coaching. So if you're interested in that, just email me, reach out to me through my website, inthelightcoach.live. And I'd be happy to get on a free call with you. The first call is free with me, and then we can figure out an action plan for you from there. So we're reading Healing What's Hidden inside the community. It's an excellent book, great resource to help you to get on that healing journey and, really dive in. And don't do like I did. Don't start reading the book and go, oh, I'm just going to read it through and then I'll answer the questions. It doesn't work that way. I stopped chapter 3 and I went back and I was like, I need to write these questions out. And that's exactly what I did. And then the other one that I'm currently reading is called Struggle Well. We got this several weeks ago at an event in Tallahassee that we went to. They primarily focus on veterans, first responders, but really I think they've already expanded it to help really anybody. I'm reading the book Struggle Well, and it's helping me, and it's an excellent resource. If you recognize that we struggle in this life, we just need some tools to help us do it well, then your perspective is going to be much different whenever you face challenges and you go through things. And so I would encourage you to read that book. And then just some things that have been pivotal in my journey. And I've got a list, you guys. And so you're going to see me looking at the list, but Crash the Chatterbox by Stephen Furtick. That was something that I felt like the reel in my head was just going and going all the time, just the negative thoughts and negative thoughts. And it is a really great book. It's an easy read. And if it's not an easy read, I'll let you know. Whisper by Mark Batterson, one of my favorite books. These are books that are inspired by pastors and people of faith. And so a lot of the things that I read are that way because I just know that God has created all things and he wants the best for me and wants an abundant life for me. And so I tend to lean towards things that speak from the word and speak life into me. Radical by David Platt, excellent book. He talks about going on missions and just things that changed his perspective on his faith and his walk. And then I've done some studies throughout the Bible that have really helped me, like in small groups or in community groups, things like that. Feast of the Bible, when you learn about the feasts and what they mean in the culture and in that time, it just really helps you understand the stories of the Bible a little bit more. Learning about the tabernacle, how it was built, why it was built, and what those things mean in your walk and in your faith. Those are super important. And then early on, when I started my healing process, Daddy's Little Girl was a Bible study, book study that I did with some women. And I didn't realize how much hurt I was carrying around from my past because my dad was around, but he wasn't around, like he wasn't present. And so there were some things that he dealt with that he, as a young dad, and that he hasn't really dealt with, when he was a kid and he walked through some things. And so, of course, that just comes over into being a parent himself. And so there were a lot of hurts and things that I had to overcome from my relationship with my dad. And then it turns that into what your relationship with God the Father is. Because if you didn't have a good one from your earthly father, then it's hard to look at God as your daddy or your father in heaven. And so, having that perspective change is really, really beneficial. And then Battlefield of the Mind and Making Good Habits, Breaking Bad Habits. Those are both from Joyce Meyer. She is, if you know Joyce Meyer, if you don't know Joyce Meyer, look her up. She's amazing. She just tells you like it is and is like, change your ways and do your thing and, put God first and stop fussing. I mean, she's kind of blunt in some of the things, but she's really, really great. She does it, she's loving and kind as well and generous, but she is funny to me. She makes me laugh. And then Goliath Must Fall, excellent book. And Don't Give the Enemy a Seat at Your Table. Those are kind of years apart, really, the two of those books, but they're both by Louis Giglio. Excellent books. Kisses for Kate was really just a feel-good book that I read, but it puts things in perspective because Kate is someone that was a young woman, went over to Africa, started like a refuge camp and like all kinds, like amazing young woman, and does incredible things for orphans and things in Africa. Someone that I have not written, and I realized I didn't write down Ann Voskamp books, and I can't remember the name of some of her titles. The most recent one was, oh my goodness, I'm not even going to think of it right now. I'll find it. It will be on the resource list whenever you go on the website in another week or so. Don't wait till then to go on the website. Go on there now and reach out to me. Get Out of Your Head by Jenny Allen. Excellent book. Called to Create. Same kind of different as me. They made a movie out of that. Excellent book. Excellent movie. Unstoppable, Christine Kane. She's one of my favorites. It's Not Supposed to Be This Way by Lisa Turkist. I'm actually reading her current book, Good Boundaries and Goodbyes is Lisa Turkist's new book. It's a good book as well. The Hiding Place, that will certainly put things in perspective for you when you read about women that went through the concentration camps. Oh my goodness. Corrie ten Boom and her story, amazing. 2 different books by Bob Goff. I know he's written several books since these, but these, Love Does was his very first book. Excellent book. And then I was actually on the launch team for Everybody Always. It was an excellent, amazing experience, but Everybody Always, excellent book. And then, let's see, I got a couple here on the side. Hind's Feet on High Places is an allegory, and the main character, her name is called Much Afraid. As you could imagine, I could completely relate to that with the fear that I was walking through and had to overcome. And so it's an excellent allegory. It has like a journal, some journal spots where you can answer some questions, and kind of like a devotional as well. Elijah Bible study, pivotal moment in my life in 2022. February to August of 2022, I did that study, and it was life-changing for me. I hope it would be for you as well. Without Rival, Lisa Bevere, excellent book. And then I believe they still have the app that goes with that book as well. Without Rival, they have another app too, where they do newsletters and different things on the app. John and Lisa Bevere are an amazing power couple for the kingdom. They're amazing. Crushing by T.D. Jakes, amazing. The book is great. The study guide is just as great. I know sometimes you can get the book and the study guide and you're like, I could do without the study guide. You want to get the study guide for that one. And then I mentioned this one because when you are healing, and if you have been through any kind of trauma, which you likely have, FYI, you start noticing, and I mentioned in some of my prior episodes that the body keeps the score is something that I'm actually actively listening to as well. So I'm reading 2 books and listening to another one. But Waymaker, it just came to me. Ann Voskamp, Waymaker. Excellent. Such a good book. That was so good. I just read that in this past year. So when you have gone through something traumatic or something that has hurt you, a hurt, a pain, a discomfort, trauma, and you need to heal from it, is what I'm trying to get at. When you have gone through trauma, your body keeps the score. It is infiltrated into your central nervous system, your amygdala that's in the back of your brain, grabs a hold of that, and it goes, do I run? Do I hide? Do I freeze? What do I do? And that's where your response comes from. But that's also where your trauma response comes from. And so that's where it is hidden. Okay. And so what comes out of that sometimes physiologically is GI upset, migraines, different things in your body, autoimmune diseases. A lot of autoimmune diseases are triggered by past trauma that you may not even realize that you have. So what I'm telling you all this to tell you that back in 2021, somewhere around there, is when I really started noticing that I was having stomach issues. I'm like, what is going on with me? Why is this happening? Why do I feel this way? I started doing some research, and I found the plant paradox. And I'm like, okay, this could explain why I've been having so many issues. I actually did the Gundry diet, and it helped me immensely. But in the process of doing that, and then reading other things and doing more research, and now in the mental health world and trauma studying and all these things, I understand now that the thing that I went through then is something that happened because of the trauma experiences that I had. And so my GI upset was not because of things I was eating or things, different things like that. It could have been, but it was also because of the experiences I had had in my life. And I was trying to uncover and unravel what was happening in my body. And so now I'm on the other side of that, and I am healing still. So I work on eating foods that help counter the effects of the trauma that I've experienced. If all of that makes sense, great. If it doesn't, I just pray it leaves your mind. You're like, I'll come back to that another time. But I read The Plant Paradox, and some of it, so if you know the old adage, chew up the fish and spit out the bones, that's kind of what I did, because there's some things that are said in there about millions of years ago and blah, 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 like some silly things like that. And I'm like, I could care less about any of that. I just want, the science part of why my body is affected and what changing my diet can do to help me, right? So the other stuff, I was like, I could do without all that. But there's testimonies in there, and there's different things in there, people overcoming autoimmune diseases and different things. And so think about how trauma affects us. And if it embeds itself in our bodies and in our central nervous system, think about, and the body keeps the score, think about how, so when you think about these things with trauma and the way it affects you, and an autoimmune disease is your body attacking itself. Well, if trauma happens to you and it is in your central nervous system and it's not supposed to be there, why do you think your body's attacking itself? Just a thought, just a theory, take it or leave it. But I think that whenever we experience the things that we do in our life and our body's trying to heal, it's like, whoa, what is this? You need to get out of there. And so we come up with things, these autoimmune diseases, Hashimoto's and IBS and Crohn's disease. And I mean, you name it, autoimmune disease, right? Something is happening in your body that's not supposed to be there. So do we have all of these autoimmune diseases because of our environment, or do we have it because of things that we've experienced and have healed from? I didn't do the research on that yet. I don't know, but it makes sense to me. So I hope I will get this list of resources and upload it into the website very soon. And so if you are hearing this when this releases on June 5th, it potentially could be there. Not making any promises right now. It's summertime for my kids and I'm trying to spend time with them. And so that's why I'm recording some episodes so I can get them, saved and uploaded, and that way they're there and I don't have to take so much time away from my family. But anyway, I will get this list developed and on my website and just keep adding to it so that it is a fresh and new. I'm not going to put it in any particular order. I'm just going to list them out on there and put some links to them. Maybe soon Amazon will give me an affiliate link. You're supposed to have so many followers now and something ridiculous now. I tried to apply and they were like, oh, you don't have this many followers. Okay, whatever, Amazon. But you've given it to how many other people? Okay. Anyway, I hope that this has helped you. I hope that you will take down some of these books and that you will look into them and that you are on your healing journey and that this has helped you and brought you hope and encouragement. And I can't wait to talk to you next time.